I died on my 22nd birthday, a victim of a meticulously planned accident. In the prison where I was held, an unexplained fire broke out, destroying all evidence and taking my life. Before I was imprisoned, my biological father, Jiang Zhenting, looked at me coldly through the visitation glass and said, "For the sake of the Jiang family's reputation, you must take all the blame. Don't worry. Yuning will live well in your place." My biological brother, Jiang Che, the ever-graceful golden boy, simply adjusted his gold-rimmed glasses and said, "Mumu, this is your final contribution to the family. We will remember you." And my biological brother Jiang Shi frowned in disgust. "You, a corporate spy, are not worth saving. Don't drag our family down." Finally, it was my birth mother, who cried, "I'm sorry, but Yuning is the daughter we've loved for 20 years. We can't let her life be tainted." They joined forces to push me into the abyss, all to cover up the massive financial fraud committed by my eldest brother, Jiang Che. As the fire consumed me, I saw on the news that Jiang Yuning was smiling radiantly, arm in arm with her fiancé, announcing her nomination for an international film festival. As consciousness faded, I had only one thought: if there is a next life, I will make this family pay in blood. When I opened my eyes again, the blinding flames had turned into a soft, warm orange light. My adoptive mother Lu Min's gentle voice reached my ears as she caressed her slightly swollen belly, smiling as she asked me, "Mumu, how about Mom gives you a little brother to play with?" I looked at her gentle eyes and saw my adoptive father, Su Jianqing, beside her, peeling an apple with eyes full of affection, and my tears instantly overflowed. I'm back. I returned to the age of 4, to the beginning of all the happiness in my life, and to the time before the tragedy occurred. "Why is Mumu crying? Don't you want a little brother?" Lu Min hugged me tightly, her voice anxious. I shook my head desperately, burying my face in her warm embrace, my voice choked with sobs. I want a brother." Su Jianqing put down the fruit knife, handed a piece of apple to my mouth, and gently tapped my nose. "Then why is our little greedy cat crying? Is it because Dad didn't let you finish that lollipop yesterday?" I nodded along, whimpering with the apple in my mouth. In my previous life, it was when my mother was 5 months pregnant that a careless medical checkup failed to detect the malignant tumor in her body in time, ultimately resulting in 2 lives lost. I waited at home, only to receive the devastating news that my father's hair had turned white overnight. It was only after my mother passed away and our family circumstances changed that I learned from the relatives' gossip that I was not their biological child. Instead, I was an abandoned infant they had found at the hospital entrance on a snowy day 3 years earlier. They named me Sumu, meaning to cleanse life like spring rain, giving me a new beginning. But my mother's departure caused my world to collapse instantly. My father, depressed and worn down by overwork, followed her a few years later. No relatives were willing to take in a burden, so I was sent to an orphanage, where I spent 12 years without dignity and often went hungry. It wasn't until I turned 16 that the Jiang family found me. I thought it was salvation, but I didn't realize I was stepping into an even deeper hell. This time, I absolutely cannot let the tragedy repeat itself. I clung tightly to Lu Min's arm and started acting out. "Mommy, my stomach hurts. Can you go for the checkup tomorrow instead? I want you to take me to the children's hospital today." My sudden outburst of illness, which was out of character for the usually well-behaved me, immediately made Su Jianqing and Lu Min anxious. They thought I was afraid of losing their attention once the baby brother was born and was using this method to draw their focus. "All right, we'll listen to our little princess. We won't go for the prenatal checkup today. Daddy will take you and Mommy to the best hospital for a full-body checkup." Su Jianqing lovingly ruffled my hair. That day, at my insistence, my mother also underwent the most detailed full-body examination. It was precisely this checkup that detected the early-stage tumor hidden within her body ahead of time. Because it was discovered early, the surgery was very successful. The doctor said that as long as she rests well, both she and the baby in her womb will be safe and sound. Su Jianqing and Lu Min looked at the diagnosis report, their faces pale with fear, trembling with lingering dread. Lu Min hugged me tightly. "Mumu, you are our little lucky star." I laughed. "Yes, this lifetime, with me around, you will all live in peace and prosperity, living to a ripe old age." As for the Jiang family, I wished them and Jiang Yuning, a complete family, to meet in hell. I didn't know I had been deliberately switched. Like all children from ordinary families, I grew up in love and warmth. My foster mother, Lu Min, is a gold medal English teacher at a key high school in the city, while my foster father, Su Jianqing, is an associate professor of history at a university. Born into such an intellectual family, I was influenced by their scholarly atmosphere from a young age, and my studies never caused them any concern. In my previous life, Jiang Yuning was the pride of the Jiang family. She excelled academically, possessed multiple talents, and was a socialite praised by everyone in the circle. As for me, I struggled to survive in an orphanage, lacking even the most basic education. After returning to the Jiang family, Mr. and Mrs. Jiang often compared me to her, their words filled with disdain. Desperate for a shred of their approval, I pushed myself to study relentlessly, trying to catch up for the 12 years I had lost. Yet when I finally presented them with a transcript that far surpassed Jiang Yuqing's, they merely said indifferently, "With such poor basic education, what's the point of trying now? You'll never be presentable." My younger brother, Jiang Shi, went all out in his mockery. "The way you struggle is truly laughable. You're just a wild chicken, yet you dare dream of flying up the branch and becoming a phoenix. Don't even think about comparing yourself to my sister." He himself was an academic failure, yet he always used Jiang Yuqing as a weapon to put me down. On the day of the college entrance exam, I was locked in the attic and missed the fate-deciding test. I told Mr. and Mrs. Jiang Jinting that it was Jiang Yuning who did it, yet they turned around and accused me. "Yuning is so kind, how could she do such a thing? I think you just didn't do well on the exam yourself," and wanted to deliberately smear her name to affect her mood during the test. Later, the family butler admitted that he had accidentally locked it. I knew the Jiang family had paid hush money. As for why, I'm certain it was Jiang Yuning, because she admitted to me herself that she loves seeing me struggle desperately yet helplessly the most. The Jiang family has two sons, the eldest, Jiang Che, and the younger, Jiang Shi. Jiang Che is the designated successor of the Jiang group, widely recognized as a business prodigy and a role model for all heirs of wealthy families. He dotes on Jiang Yuning to the extreme, but that kind of affection feels more like the maintenance of a perfect masterpiece. He always treats others with humility and courtesy, wearing a gentle smile on his face, yet I can't help but feel that behind those gold-rimmed glasses lies an unfathomable abyss. Toward me, he maintains a superficial gentleness, but he has never truly cared whether I live or die. As for Jiang Shi, my biological younger brother, he is a spoiled, indecisive playboy. He isn't inherently evil, but he is extremely foolish. He idolizes his eldest brother, Jiang Che, and is infatuated with his sister, Jiang Yuning. He treats every word they say as an absolute command. If Jiang Yuning so much as hints that she dislikes me, Jiang Shi will immediately rally his gang of troublemakers to subject me to all sorts of childish pranks, putting dead mice in my backpack, locking me on the rooftop, tearing up my homework. These were all common occurrences. I also had to endure their isolation and humiliation. Afterwards, Jiang Yuqing would appear hypocritically, playing the role of the kind sister, criticizing Jiang Shi for being immature. But when I cried to Jiang Jinting and his wife about Jiang Shi's misdeeds, they only promised to give me justice in words. Yet as soon as Jiang Shi used the excuse, she made Sister Yuning unhappy first. The one who always ended up punished was me, battered and bruised. In this life, I also have a younger brother, Su Yang. That life that didn't get a chance to see the world in the previous lifetime. My relationship with Su Yang is a classic case of loving each other and hurting each other. He would secretly eat all my snacks, and I would sign my flamboyant parent's signature on his failing exam papers, leading to him being double-teamed by his parents. He would draw turtles on my face while I was asleep, and I would change his gaming account password to the last 100 digits of pi. But we both knew deep down that each of us was the other's strongest support. Due to the mental maturity brought by reincarnation, I exhibited far greater rationality and insight than my peers from a young age. At the end of the 1990s, I convinced my parents to invest all their savings in several technology stocks that were not yet favored at the time. Then, just before the housing prices skyrocketed, I had them take out loans to purchase several properties in the city center. Initially, they thought it was just childish nonsense, but after missing a few opportunities, they decided to give it a try and listen to my rambling nonsense. As a result, the family's assets multiplied by dozens of times within just a few years. For a while, my parents thought I was possessed by a business genius, and they no longer found it strange to see the profound economics books in my room. That money later became my first pot of gold for starting a business in college. They often lamented how two educators could raise such a shrewd merchant like me, reeking of the smell of money. Although I was extremely reluctant to admit it, during my years working at Jiang Corporation in my previous life, I indeed learned a great deal of business knowledge from Jiang Jinting and Jiang Che, especially their gray area tactics that skirted the edges of the law. At that time, Jiang Yuning was studying art and, after graduation, plunged headfirst into the entertainment industry chasing her dream of stardom, leaving her with no time to bother with me for the moment. I seized every opportunity to improve myself. By that time, I had long given up any hope for the so-called familial affection from the Jiang family and would no longer feel hurt or saddened by their favoritism. If I couldn't get love, then I would make use of the Jiang family's resources. I followed Jiang Zhenting and Jiang Che, learning their management methods, expanding their connections, and accumulating my own capital. I knew that even if I were to be driven out of the Jiang family in the future, I would have the skills to survive on my own, yet I still underestimated their ruthlessness. That financial fraud case was a trap set by Jiang Che to take over a rival company, but it spiraled out of control, affecting many. To protect him, the perfect heir, the entire Jiang family unhesitatingly chose me as the scapegoat, fabricating all evidence to send me to prison, and ultimately orchestrating that fire to make my accidental death a permanent solution to the problem. They thought I was dead, and that the secret would remain buried forever. They didn't know that I had returned with all my memories and hatred. I was admitted to the best provincial high school in the city, while Jiang Yuning attended an expensive private elite school. In our second year of high school, Jiang Yuning skyrocketed to fame with a hit idol drama, becoming the widely adored nation's first love. The Jiang family promptly established a personal studio for her and invested heavily in promoting her image. In my previous life, Jiang Yuning's studio served as a front for the Jiang family to launder money and engage in illegal transactions. In this life, I will not give her that opportunity again. Using my hacking skills, I anonymously mailed detailed evidence to the tax authorities and the Securities Regulatory Commission, exposing Jiang Yuning's studio for allegedly signing dual contracts, evading taxes, and participating in insider trading. All this evidence was inadvertently discovered and recorded by me during my time working at the Jiang family's company in my previous life. With solid evidence, the relevant authorities immediately established a special task force to investigate. Once the news broke, public opinion erupted. Jiang Yuning's pure and innocent persona collapsed overnight. Her endorsements were revoked, her films were taken down, and she plummeted from the heights of fame into the depths of disgrace. Even facing the threat of imprisonment, the Jiang family mobilized all their connections and spent an astronomical sum on public relations and fines, barely managing to keep her out of prison. However, her career as a star came to an end. To protect her, the Jiang family sent her abroad to lay low for a while. As a result, Jiang's group stock prices plummeted, causing significant damage to the company. This is just the first step in my revenge, an appetizer. I remember, in my previous life, she continued to live in splendor after my death, marrying into a wealthy family and becoming the envied Mrs. Fu. This time, I want her to experience the feeling of falling from heaven to hell. When Jiang Che was in university, he had already started handling affairs for the Jiang group, with tactics even more seasoned than Jiang Zhenting's. The Jiang family primarily deals in high-end jewelry and luxury goods. In my previous life, the Jiang group, in an attempt to monopolize the market, maliciously acquired a highly promising designer brand called Stellar. This time around, I found the founder of Stellar, Mr. Zhou, ahead of schedule. As an investor, I injected funds into his brand and, leveraging my forward-looking market insights, helped Stellar fully flourish in online channels and new media marketing, rapidly growing into a new force capable of rivaling the Jiang group. Jiang Che regards my sudden emergence as Qiming Capital, as a thorn in his side, and has begun employing various means to suppress me in the business world. He doesn't know that the person behind the screen, engaging him in this game, is his own sister, whom he personally drove to her death, using my knowledge from a previous life of his trading tactics. I anticipated all his business moves and set one trap after another. The funds he used to target me were lured into traps I had laid in advance, resulting in a devastating loss. He wanted to poach my core team, but I turned the tables by turning his most capable deputy against him, gaining access to more of his hidden misdeeds. After several rounds of confrontation, Jiang Che not only failed to harm me in the slightest but also worsened the already strained financial chain of the Jiang group. He began to grow anxious, and his methods became increasingly reckless, and this is exactly what I wanted to see. The game of cat and mouse. The one chasing is often the more passive one. Jiang Shi remained the same undisciplined playboy. Without Jiang Yuning, the sister, as a shield, his position in the Jiang family became increasingly awkward. Jiang Zhenting was utterly disappointed in him, while Jiang Che completely ignored him. His only purpose is to serve as a tool for marriage Alliance, exchanging benefits for the family. Through Jiang Che's assistant, I learned that the Jiang family, in order to alleviate financial pressure, is preparing to form a marriage alliance with another wealthy family, the Lin family. The person chosen for this alliance is Jiang Shi. The eldest daughter of the Lin family is notoriously known in their social circle as the female demon. She is spoiled, arrogant, and has a chaotic personal life. Her previous fiancés all broke off their engagements with her because they could not endure the humiliation. The Jiang family is essentially pushing Jiang Shi into a pit of fire. In my previous life, I was indifferent to this matter, but in this life, I decided to give him a helping hand. I orchestrated a chance encounter for Jiang Shi to meet a girl from an ordinary family background, but with a gentle and kind-hearted personality. That girl was an intern at my company, reliable in character, and I had deliberately arranged it. Having grown up in an environment of repression and neglect, Jiang Shi experienced the feeling of being cared for and respected for the first time, and quickly fell in love. When the Jiang family announced his engagement to the eldest daughter of the Lin family, he mustered the courage for the first time to defy his family's arrangements. He eloped with that girl, although he was quickly found by the Jiang family and forcibly brought back. This farce left both the Jiang and Lin families utterly humiliated, and the marriage alliance was completely called off. Jiang Shi had one of his legs broken by Jiang Zhenting and was confined to his home under house arrest. In turn, used the media to sensationalize this drama of the second son of a wealthy family rebelling against an arranged marriage for love, saddling the Jiang family with the reputation of being cold-blooded, heartless, and oppressive toward their children. The Jiang family's social reputation suffered another heavy blow. As for Jiang Shi, the younger brother who once despised me the most, when I secretly sent someone to visit him and expressed my willingness to support his pursuit of true love, he showed gratitude and wavering toward me for the first time. I knew that this pawn would soon be at my disposal. After the college entrance examination, I was admitted to the finance department of Jing University with outstanding grades. I utilized the memories and experiences from my previous life to thrive effortlessly in the stock market and investment field. In my freshman year, I used the money I had earned from previous investments to establish a technology company named Qiming, focusing primarily on the field of artificial intelligence. I did not forget to continue causing trouble for the Jiang family. After all, no one understands the operations and lifelines of the Jiang Corporation better than I do. I have always deliberately avoided meeting the Jiang family. It wasn't until my senior year of college that I, as the founder of Qiming Technology, unexpectedly encountered Jiang Zhenting and Jiang Che at a business reception. At the age of 22, I inevitably met the Jiang family again. That day, as soon as I got home from work, I found Jiang Zhenting and his wife, along with Jiang Che, sitting in my living room. When my biological mother saw me, tears immediately streamed down her face. She opened her arms to hug me, but I instinctively stepped back. "Dad, Mom, who are these people?" I asked, looking at Su Jiancheng and Lu Min, who both looked visibly uncomfortable. Before Lu Min could even speak, my biological mother stepped forward, grabbed my hand, and sobbed uncontrollably. "Child, we are your real parents. Mom has finally found you. I have always pretended to know nothing about my origins, and at this moment, I naturally have to play the part to the fullest." I looked utterly bewildered and resistant. Su Jianqing asked them to sit down first and speak slowly. Lu Min took my hand and recounted to me once again the story of how she found me at the hospital entrance 20 years ago. After hearing this, my brow furrowed tightly, my eyes filled with rejection toward these uninvited guests. Su Jiancheng and his wife looked worried. Jiang Zhenting and his wife had tears in their eyes, while Jiang Che remained expressionless. Yet, those eyes hidden behind the lenses were quietly observing me all along. Only Su Yang remained unaffected, gloating on the side. "Ha, Su Mu, I told you you were picked up from the trash can." I ignored him and instead held Lu Min's hand, speaking firmly. "Dad, Mom, we've been living together for 20 years now. I've grown up, so why bring up the past? Isn't our family doing well now?" There was a hint of irritation in my tone, clearly showing my dissatisfaction with those who disrupted the harmony of my family. A flicker of embarrassment crossed the faces of Jiang Zhenting and his wife. Su Jianqing spoke to comfort me. "Mu, don't worry. You'll always be our daughter, no matter what choice you make. We'll support you," Lu Min also said. "Although your mother didn't give birth to you, she raised you with great care. In her heart, you and Su Yang have the same weight." I looked at the Jiang family sitting across from me, my tone unfriendly. "How can you be sure they are my biological parents? There are so many scammers these days. who knows if they're here to swindle money. My words were quite impolite, but for a young person who had just experienced a huge shock, it was understandable. In my previous life, when the Jiang family came to the orphanage to find me, they weren't as tearful and emotional as they are now. Instead, Jiang Yuning was crying her eyes out, and my birth mother was comforting her with a heartbroken expression. Jiang, she looked at me with disdain. Is this country bumpkin really my sister? Can't be a scammer, right? Seeing that Mr. and Mrs. Jiang were at a loss for words, Jiang Che broke the silence first. Sister, hello, I'm your older brother Jiang Che. The thing is, back then, it was a nurse's mistake at the hospital that swapped you with another child. We have another daughter in the Jiang family named Jiang Yuning, the child who was swapped with you back then. A while ago, we accidentally discovered that Yuning's blood type doesn't match ours. Later, at a business reception, we saw you and noticed how much you resemble our mother, and since you share the same birthday as Yuning, we decided to investigate. He's lying. When Jiang Yuning was 16, they already knew she wasn't their biological child. That's why they found me in the orphanage. This time, I didn't go to the orphanage, and since they couldn't find me, they probably gave up. I suppressed the emotions on my face, regaining my usual composure, and asked, my parents only gave birth to Su Yang, which means it wasn't a mix-up, so where did that Jiang Yuning come from? My biological mother quickly explained. Yuning is the child of a nanny who worked for our family back then, so it wasn't a mistake but an intentional swap. That nanny wanted my life. I scrutinized Jiang Che. Your earlier explanation was deliberately covering up for Jiang Yuning and that nanny. My biological mother hurriedly defended Jiang Yuning. Mumu, we've wronged you all these years, but Yuning is innocent too. She knew nothing about it. Jiang Che was clearly much more rational than his mother, and he immediately changed the subject. Little sister, don't worry, we've already sent that nanny to prison. I won't let anyone who hurts you get away with it. So decisive. In my past life, I had to go through hell and high water to send that woman to prison, because the Jiang family was afraid that the nanny's criminal record would affect Jiang Yuning's future. They just wanted to pay her off and make sure she never had any connection with Jiang Yuning again. Later, I insisted on reporting it to the police, but that only deepened the Jiang family's dislike for me. Don't call me sister. We might not even be related, I snapped back. The term sister was Jiang Che's exclusive way of addressing Jiang Yuning in my past life. Jiang Che smiled slightly, not at all angry. It was I who was too impatient. If you don't believe me, we can go and do a paternity test right now. He was always this way, gentle and refined, exuding an air of perfect elegance, like the most ideal older brother. Is Jiang Yuning the actress? I suddenly asked. Yes, she's filming abroad, so she couldn't rush back to see you, but don't worry, Yuning is already engaged, and from now on, you'll be the only daughter in the family. Your father, mother, and I will all make it up to you. My birth mother held my hand, tears in her eyes. Good child, come home with your mother. I gave her a look that clearly said, are you out of your mind? No, thank you, I'm doing just fine at the Su family home. Are you still blaming us? Don't you want to acknowledge me as your mother? She wouldn't let it go and started with the moral blackmail. It was Jiang Zhenting who stopped her. All right, it's normal for Mumu to have a hard time accepting this. We can't rush this matter. Then, he turned to look at me. Mumu, whether you acknowledge it or not, I am your biological father. If you don't believe it, we can go for a paternity test first, with the support of my adoptive parents. I still went with the Jiang family to take the paternity test. They also hoped I could find my roots. The identification results came out. As expected, both families had a meal together. During the meal, I remained extremely resistant and cold. The Jiang family once again proposed taking me back to live with them, which I rejected without hesitation. After returning home, I presented all the negative news about the Jiang family that I had collected over the years to my foster parents. Since Jiang Yuning's tax scandal, the Jiang family's fortunes have been on a steady decline, with investments repeatedly failing. They have mortgaged almost all of their assets, leaving only the villa where the Jiang family currently resides and an ancestral home. The Jiang family's commercial empire has long been teetering on the brink of collapse, desperately in need of a massive infusion of funds to stay afloat. The reason I know this so well is that a large portion of these achievements can be attributed to me. The other small portion, however, belonged to the kind and innocent good daughter in their eyes, Jiang Yuning. Helping her fiancé's family drain her own family's resources, such a thing was indeed something she was capable of doing. In my past life, I returned to the Jiang family early on. Jiang Yuning harbored deep hostility toward me, fearing that I would take everything from her. But the indulgence of the Jiang family gradually put her at ease, and this time, I did not appear for a long time. The unknown is the most terrifying. For these 6 years, she has been worried every moment. What if I suddenly return one day, and all she has now will vanish like bubbles? Therefore, she had to find a more secure way out for herself. She entered into an early marriage alliance with the Fu family, willing to sacrifice Jiang's interests to the Fu family, and even betraying Jiang's business secrets to cling to the Fu family's strong support. Judging from Jiang Che's attitude earlier, they are probably still in the dark. Before coming to me, they must have thoroughly investigated my background. They know I founded Qiming Technology, and that my company has limitless potential. Taking the nanny to prison proactively, even at the risk of affecting Jiang Yuning's future, isn't it just to curry favor with me, afraid that I might be unhappy? My parents don't know about the grievances of the past life, but I must warn them not to believe a single word from the Jiang family so easily. Dad, Mom, the Jiang family actually knew about the baby swap 6 years ago, but they told us they only discovered it recently. This is clearly a lie, knowing their own daughter was out there 6 years ago. Yet only sending the mastermind to prison recently. Instead, they raised the nanny's daughter like a treasure, never once thinking of avenging me. It's clear that in their hearts, I, their biological daughter, am utterly insignificant. Lu Min found it hard to believe. Surely not. What do they want? Su Jianqing flipped through the documents, his face grave. If this information is true, then Jiang Corporation is indeed a company with a checkered past. Mu Mu is also in business. Getting involved with them would bring no benefits. Su Yang's thoughts were always unconventional. Sis, they wouldn't be trying to claim you back just to sell you off to some rich old man for a business marriage, would they? Lu Min gave him a sidelong glance. What nonsense are you talking about? Isn't that how it always goes in TV dramas? I chuckled softly. It's not entirely impossible. You don't need to worry too much. I have a good handle on these matters. I'm just giving you a heads up in advance. Jiang Zhenting and Jiang Che were busy with company matters, and only managed to visit me a few times afterward. Jiang Che brought me several sets of expensive diamond jewelry, but I recognized at a glance that these were all Jiang Yuning's belongings. They could no longer afford expensive custom jewelry, but buying ordinary pieces would seem insufficiently sincere. In my previous life, when I first returned to the Jiang family, Jiang Che gave me a bracelet worth 20,000 yuan. I was overwhelmed with gratitude and deeply moved, even thinking he had spent too much. It wasn't until I accidentally overheard Jiang Yuning say to him sarcastically, "Brother, you gave that country bumpkin such a cheap bracelet. When she came back, she won't get angry, will she? After all, even one of my jackets costs 300,000 yuan. Hearing the word cheap, I felt a bit sad, but I wasn't angry. After all, it was a heartfelt gesture from my own brother. But then Jiang Che said, "Where is it cheap? For her previous standard of living, 200,000 is already a sky-high price. If it weren't for us bringing her back, she'd still be starving and freezing in the orphanage. She should be grateful to us." So in his eyes, I only deserved cheap things. Jiang Zhenting, on the other hand, brought a share transfer agreement, saying he wanted to give me 10% of Jiang Corporation's shares. I didn't take a single thing of theirs. If it were a few years ago, I might have really needed them, but now, I can afford these things myself. Jiang Zhenting's face was full of guilt. "It's our fault for not finding you sooner. Dad just wants to make it up to you. Even if you had found me earlier, I might not have gone with you. After all, I've had a very good life these years. Money couldn't sway me." So they started taking an emotional approach. My birth mother came to our house almost every day, chatting with Lu Min and subtly inquiring about various things from my childhood. After all, she was my birth mother, and seeing her so concerned about me, Lu Min couldn't turn her away, so she treated her with courtesy. Every time she saw me, my birth mother would pull me aside and repeatedly express her longing and guilt over the years. In my previous life, I endured so much hardship in the orphanage, yet she showed little remorse. A month later, I became closer to her in attitude. She took the opportunity to suggest staying at our house for a while to build our relationship. I arranged a guest room for her, but she nitpicked, "Mumu, isn't this mattress too hard? And this room doesn't get any sunlight. The decor is too old-fashioned, and the lighting isn't bright enough." I forced a smile. "Is that so? Our whole family is quite comfortable here." That morning, I was preparing to leave for work. "Mom and Dad, I've scheduled your annual physical checkup. Don't forget. I'll have the driver come pick you up shortly." "Got it." I remember seeing this. My Biological mother cautiously asked, Mumu, I've also been feeling unwell lately, can I come along? I hadn't noticed it until she mentioned it. In her previous life, she was radiant. She regularly visited the most prestigious beauty salons, adorned herself with high-end jewelry, never wore out-of-season clothes, and lived a life of extreme luxury. And the woman before him, her face pale and haggard, dressed simply in outdated styles from previous years, not a single piece of decent jewelry on her. Auntie, this checkup was scheduled with a specialist we booked in advance. How about you wait for the next one? She could only nod helplessly. All right, next time is just an empty promise. In my previous life, when I returned to the Jiang family, everyone said they wanted to compensate me, their words sounding even sweeter than a song. In the end, it was all just empty promises. They took Jiang Yuning on a trip to Europe. We'll take you next time. They think the clothes I wear are cheap street market goods, bringing shame to the Jiang family. In a few days, I'll take you shopping. Whatever Yuning has, you'll have too. People in the circle are gossiping about my identity. In a while, we'll hold a family recognition banquet for you and formally introduce you to everyone. My biological mother took me to an important event and bought me a set of jewelry for the occasion, just because Jiang Yuning said she liked it. She gave it to Jiang Yuning without hesitation. I'll buy you a better set next time to make up for it. None of these next times ever came true. I've lost count of how many empty promises I've endured in my previous life. After work that day, I deliberately went to a luxury store and bought all the new season's clothes, bags, and jewelry. Lu Min has always disliked these luxury items. The ones I bought for her before, she kept hidden away, but this time, I bought everything exactly according to my birth mother's preferences. My birth mother's eyes lit up just seeing the brand packaging bags. Mumu, why did you buy so many things? She greeted me with a bright smile. Lu Min sat on the sofa, giving me a helpless look. You silly child, you're spending money again. Didn't I tell you to save it for yourself? I greeted my biological mother and walked right past her to sit next to Lu Min. I cooed, oh, Mom, these were all gifts from business partners. They said it's a little token of appreciation for my dear mother. Don't try to fool me. You must have spent a lot of money again, didn't you? Though she scolded me with her words, in the end, it was her daughter's heartfelt gesture. Lu Min still opened each one to take a look. These bags are all too flashy. As a teacher, I don't have any occasions to carry them. I chuckled softly. Then you can just take them grocery shopping. It'll be quite the statement. And these jewels are too extravagant. They don't suit me. You should keep them for yourself. My birth mother chimed in. Just in time. Oh my, isn't this the limited edition necklace from V? It's not extravagant at all. It would pair perfectly with an evening gown. She enthusiastically introduced the history and value of these brands to Lu Min, who also listened attentively, showing great respect. Finally, my biological mother added meaningfully, I used to love buying their jewelry the most. That's perfect. Lu Min was about to say, that's perfect, I'll give you one. I immediately interrupted, Auntie, I didn't know what style you like, so I only bought something for my mom. I'll take you shopping myself when I have some free time in the next few days. All right. Mumu is really thoughtful. She forced a faint smile, but her eyes remained fixed on those shopping bags. Lu Min nudged me with her elbow, looking a bit embarrassed, and gave me a meaningful glance. The implication was, after all, your own mother is here, you should at least show some gesture and give her something. I pretended not to notice and took out a few simply packaged boxes from behind me. All that earlier was just an act. These here are the real gifts I bought for Lu Min. She doesn't like diamonds, but she has a special fondness for the gentle warmth of jade and emerald. Opening the box, her eyes indeed lit up. Oh, the jade bracelet and emerald earrings are truly exquisite, understated yet elegant. I've asked someone to gather a few high-quality Hetian jade pieces. I'll take you to choose some this weekend. I don't understand these things and I'm afraid of being cheated, she joked. Sure, with my sharp eyes, I guarantee no one can cheat you. Lu Min and I were unwrapping gifts and chatting about family matters, while my birth mother sat to the side, looking at us with a resentful gaze, her face darker than a pot bottom. That night, she found me privately. Mumu, when are you going to take me for that medical checkup you mentioned last time? She asked. I furrowed my brows slightly. Auntie, I think you're in pretty good health. There's nothing wrong, right? But I just don't feel well. I've never lived like this before. My expression darkened. Auntie, what do you mean by that? If you're dissatisfied with the conditions in our home, you can return to the Jiang family anytime, she hurriedly explained. That's not what I meant. Maybe I've just been too tired lately. how about, you take mom for a spa day to relax sometime? If possible, I'd also like to get a facial while we're at it. I really don't have time, let's talk about it another day, I started. Making empty promises again, my birth mother finally couldn't hold back anymore, her face full of grievance. You have time to take your adoptive mother jewelry shopping, but you don't have time to care about your own birth mother. Enough, I snapped sharply. How can my mother be the same as you? She saved my life and raised me for over 20 years through all the hardships, even after having her own biological son. Her love for me never diminished by a single bit, and what have you done for me besides giving me life? What right do you have to compare yourselves to my adoptive parents? My birth mother had never been spoken to in such a manner. In the Jiang household, she was always the one who called the shots, and all three of her children would humor her. Her expression instantly changed, filled with anger and disdain. Aren't they just two poor teachers? They raised you, so give them some money and that'll be enough to repay their so-called nurturing. That way, they won't cling to you like leeches for the rest of your life. We are your blood relatives, the ones who carried you for 10 months and gave birth to you. I coldly shook off her hand. I'll make it clear to you right now, the Su family is my home, and I only recognize them as my parents. If you can't respect my family, then there's no need for the Jiang family to stay in touch with me. My birth mother looked as if I had broken her heart, crying as she ran back to her room. Jiang Shi arrived. This was the first time I had ever seen him in my life, and I almost didn't recognize him. He no longer exuded the arrogance of a wealthy young master, nor did he display the domineering behavior he once had when bullying the weak. When facing me, he was no longer the haughty and disdainful second young master of the Jiang family. He was silent, wooden, and even somewhat timid. Jiang Shi graduated from a junior college last year, just as he had in his previous life, with no special skills. This life's Jiang family can no longer allow him to continue being the prodigal son who squanders money like dirt. His current job is to serve as Jiang Yuning's assistant. Indeed, the once arrogant second young master of the Jiang family has now become the lackey of the fake he despises the most. My birth mother explained. Yuning said, let him first work as an assistant to gain some experience in the industry. When the time is right, we'll use the resources of the Fu family to help him enter the entertainment circle and become a star. The Fu family is the leader in the domestic entertainment industry, and Jiang Yuning is now the designated young mistress of the Fu family. If Jiang Shi wants to enter the entertainment industry, it should be an easy task. Why does she have to start as an assistant? Unless Jiang Yuning never intended to truly help him from the very beginning, being a follower is fine too. Isn't this what he used to love doing the most? In a way, it's staying true to his original intentions. I took the initiative to greet Jiang Shi. You must be Jiang Shi, right? He looked up at me and timidly called out, sister. In my past life, he never once called me sister. I smiled and responded, handing him the latest model phone I had just bought. I heard you like playing games, and this phone's specs are perfect for that. Seeing this, my biological mother was so delighted she couldn't stop smiling. Ever since our big argument last time, our relationship had been quite cold. Now, it seemed she saw an opportunity to ease the tension. Siblings really do have a special bond. Jiang Shi, you should get along well with your sister Mu Mu in the future. Jiang Shi took the phone somewhat shyly. Thank you, sister. At that moment, Su Yang just got home from school and exploded as soon as he entered. Su Mu, isn't that the phone you promised to buy for me? Upon hearing this, Jiang Shi's hand holding the phone froze in midair. At a loss for what to do, I nodded. It was bought for you, but isn't Jiang Shi here now? Su Yang shouted. Then you can take him to buy one next time. You promised me that if I improved on this exam, you'd get me a new phone. I've been taking extra classes for 3 months, a whole 3 months. Are you even human? Lu Min stopped him. Su Yang, don't be rude. Jiang Shi is like your brother too. Jiang Shi shrank back, wanting to return the phone to me. I'm sorry, I don't want it anymore. I pushed the phone back into his hand. It's fine, you keep it. You're my brother too. I patted Su Yang's head again. I just met him. What's wrong with giving a gift? Can't you be a little more considerate? Hearing this, Jiang Shi's eyes lit up slightly, as if he hadn't expected me to be so supportive of him. Su Yang stormed upstairs angrily. Jiang Shi asked with some concern, sister, did I make him angry? I chuckled lightly. It's not your fault. Go ahead and open it to see if you like the phone. Jiang Shi, who hadn't felt special favor in a long time, happily opened the phone packaging. Thank you, sis. After a while, Su Yang ran downstairs. The anger from earlier had already vanished. replaced once again by that punchable smile on his face. In his hand, he was holding an identical phone. Hee, sis, I knew you wouldn't be so unprincipled. I rolled my eyes. I was just joking, and you took it seriously. I knew Jiangshi was coming, so I bought an extra phone on purpose, and I placed it in Su Yang's room in advance. At this moment, Jiangshi looked at the phone in his hand with a complicated expression, unsure whether to hold it or not. He instantly realized that the special favor that had warmed his heart just now was nothing more than a joke between Su Yang and me. During dinner, the topic turned to Su Yang's grades. My biological mother asked, "Is Su Yang about to take the college entrance exam? How are his grades?" Lu Min modestly replied, "Not bad. I should be able to get into a key university without any problem, but I still can't compare to Mu Mu. She graduated from Jing University." When it comes to their own children, parents can't help but feel a sense of pride. My biological mother immediately chimed in, "Is that so? Mu Mu is so outstanding." My eldest son, Jiang Che, also graduated from Jing University. They truly are siblings. Our Yuning also did very well in her studies, but unfortunately, she insisted on going abroad to study acting. And now, she's become a big star. Throughout the entire conversation, Jiang Shi, the only one not mentioned, quietly lowered her head, barely tasting her food. I silently observed his every move, serving him many dishes he loved. He was pleasantly surprised and didn't suspect at all why I knew his preferences so well. Jiang Shi was going to stay at our house for a few days. My biological mother said she wanted us siblings to bond better. After dinner, I played 2 rounds of games with Su Yang. Playing games is the easiest way to get worked up. After losing, I got so angry that I started wrestling with him. Using my height advantage, I pinned him down on the sofa. "How did you play that team fight just now? Do you even know how to play? How dare you blame me? It was you who first got the kill." My biological mother, seeing this, quickly urged my mother to intervene. "Oh dear, Mu Mu is a girl, how can she bully her younger brother like this?" Lu Min, however, didn't care at all. "Don't bother with them. Whoever can't defend themselves deserves it." Jiang Shi watched from the side, his eyes filled with envy. In the Jiang family, no one has ever dared to speak a harsh word to Jiang Yuning. Anyone who makes Jiang Yuning cry will face punishment from the entire family. This extremely unbalanced approach to parenting is inherently unreasonable. While it is possible to love every child equally, they deliberately choose to elevate one and belittle the other to demonstrate their supreme affection for one child. The entire family treats Jiang Yuning as a fragile treasure, not fearing scarcity but inequality. Long-term partiality naturally leads to inner discontent. Jiang Che is the predetermined family heir, so he naturally doesn't mind showing more affection to a perfect younger sister, which showcases his magnanimity. But what about Jiang Shi? In my previous life, I vaguely sensed the jealousy lurking deep within him, though he dared not show it while Jiang Yuning was in high favor. Moreover, at that time, I was at the very bottom of the food chain, serving as a foundation for him to find a sense of balance. This was another deep-seated reason for his initial relentless bullying of me. He was jealous and fearful. I excelled in every aspect compared to him, and he was afraid that my position at home would surpass his. So, using the excuse of avenging Jiang Yuning, he relentlessly suppressed me, bullied me, all to demonstrate his presence and superiority. After messing around with Su Yang, I called Jiang Shi and went up to the second floor's game room. This place was basically Su Yang's exclusive domain, equipped with the most top-of-the-line esports gear on the market. Su Yang also collected many discontinued vintage gaming consoles. Although it's no longer popular now, he enjoys studying these, so I asked someone to collect them from all over the world for him. As soon as Jiang Shi walked in, his eyes were filled with amazement and envy. This feeling, I am all too familiar with, in my previous life, after staying in the guest room at the Jiang family's house for a few days. The first time I saw Jiang Yun's grand room decorated like a palace, I felt the same way. Jiang Shi loves playing games, a trait that has remained unchanged through both her past and present lives. Su Yang has also been fond of playing games since he was a child. Upon learning this, Su Jianqing did not impose a strict ban, nor did he let it slide. Instead, he guided him towards game development. During the winter and summer vacations, I even enrolled him in programming classes, allowing him to systematically learn about computers and software development. Unexpectedly, Su Yang was very interested in this and even wrote a small game program himself, making friends online with like-minded individuals. Jiang Shi and Su Yang played a few rounds of the game together, and when they came out, they still felt unfulfilled. In the following days, whenever I had free time, I would take Jiang Shi out shopping. buying him things he liked. My biological mother was also happy to see this, seeing that his clothes were a bit old. I took him to a luxury store and bought him hundreds of thousands worth of new clothes in one go. He said he envied the out-of-print game consoles Su Yang had collected in his game room, so I asked someone to buy him a set at a high price. He took a liking to the limited edition watch Su Yang was wearing on his wrist, and the next day, I gave him an identical one. In short, I wanted him to experience the kind of unconditional pampering that Jiang Yuning once received, where all his wishes were fulfilled. From someone who initially didn't even dare to accept a phone, to now, seeing someone willing to fulfill all his wishes without reservation. Jiang Shi was both moved and apprehensive, gradually opening his heart to me. He vaguely hinted to me that Jiang Yuning treated him poorly in private. I feigned surprise. How could that be? Isn't Yuning a simple and kind-hearted girl? How could you say that about her? I almost laughed out loud when I said this, but I held it in. He grumbled, how do you know she's innocent and kind? I put on an innocent face. Auntie said so, and I occasionally watch entertainment news. I quite like the TV shows she acts in. That's all an act. She's the best at acting. Even her persona in the entertainment industry is fake. No way. Jiang Shi lowered his head in defeat, no longer attempting to explain. He must have told his family many times, but no one ever believed him. I continued to provoke him. Yuning might just have a few minor tantrums occasionally, but after all, she's been your sister for so many years. You can't be so malicious in your assumptions about her. He let out a bitter laugh. If it had been you living with me all these years, how wonderful that would have been. A subtle, almost imperceptible curve formed at the corner of my mouth, while my eyes were filled with mockery. Jiang Shi's current situation is most similar to mine in my previous life. However, he is living far better than I did back then. After returning home, my birth mother suddenly suggested that Jiang Shi go back. Jiang Shi, you've had more than enough rest these days. Hurry back to keep your sister company. It'll be really inconvenient for her all alone on the set without you. Jiang Shi frowned. I'm not going. She's such a grown-up. Does she still need me to take care of her? How can you talk like that? Yuning is a girl, and it's very unsafe in the entertainment industry. As her younger brother, you should protect her well. Who is her brother? My real sister is right here. She's just some illegitimate child who suddenly appeared, and hasn't she been acting like she owns the place for long enough? Seeing them start to argue, I stopped Lu Min, who was about to step forward to mediate. We're all family, let's talk things out properly. I pretended to mediate, but it had no effect. Instead, it only added fuel to the fire. Jiang Shi finally exploded. You've been favoring her for so many years. Isn't that enough? My biological mother also got angry. Why do you have to compare yourself to Yuning like this? She's always been more sensible and outstanding than you since she was little. In what way are you better than her? Up until now, you're still being supported by your family. In the future, if you want to enter the entertainment industry, won't you still have to rely on your sister's help? Jiang Shi, her eyes red, screamed, I don't need her help. Years of repression, resentment, and grievance burst forth at this moment, and Jiang Shi's voice grew hysterical in her agitation. From childhood to adulthood, whatever is good to eat or fun to play with, she gets to choose first. As long as she sheds a single tear, all of you come running to scold me. In high school, it was her who lied, saying that classmates bullied her, and I only brought people to help her out. But in the end, you all pushed all the blame onto me, saying I bullied my classmates and brought shame to the Jiang family. Later, you accused me of spending extravagantly and gave all my allowance to Jiang Yuning. But from childhood to adulthood, she gets whatever she wants. And when have you ever reprimanded her for being wasteful? You didn't let me go abroad with her, saying you were afraid I'd bully her overseas. But I've explained so many times, I've never hit her. She tripped and fell on her own to frame me. Why won't you believe me? So, that was why Jiang Shi didn't get to go abroad. Slap. My birth mother slapped him hard across the face. Jiang Shi, that's your sister. She's been so good to you. How could you be so vicious? I think you're just used to being idle and don't want to work at your sister's place, so you made up these lies to slander her. Lu Min awkwardly tried to mediate a few words, but after all, it was someone else's family matter, and it wasn't appropriate to interfere too much. I watched the drama unfold leisurely from the side. Not cracking sunflower seeds was my last bit of respect for them. Jiang Shi pushed her aside and stormed out the door. Lu Min hurried over to comfort my birth mother. Don't be angry. It's normal for children to have conflicts. My two fight every day too. My birth mother was so angry she felt dizzy. I raised 3 children. The eldest is mature and steady. my daughter is well-behaved and sensible, but this youngest son is good for nothing and always stirring up trouble. I really wonder if he was the one swapped with Mumu back then, otherwise, how could I have given birth to such an unfilial son? TCH, is it possible that there's a problem with your parenting methods? My birth mother angrily went back to her room to rest. Lu Min heard a lot of gossip about the Jiang family and was completely confused. She sighed, shaking her head as she sat on the sofa. It's too chaotic. Their family is just too chaotic. You and Su Yang may bicker every day, but you've never had the kind of deep resentment that Jiang she carries in her heart. I hugged her and comforted. That's all thanks to you and Dad teaching us well. Look at our family, so harmonious. Lu Min glanced at me again, her eyes flickering with a hint of relief. I can't say for sure which of the two children is right or wrong, but many times, the root of conflicts between children lies in the parents' partiality. She stroked my head gently and said, in the future, if your biological parents make you feel wronged for the sake of another child, you must tell Mom and Dad, even if it means breaking ties with them. We will never endure such humiliation. Hearing this, my nose tingled, and tears almost fell. I let out a muffled All the grievances and helplessness from my previous life flashed before my eyes. If back then, someone had stood up for me, how could the Jiang family have dared to bully me so brazenly? Fortunately, this time, they are all still here. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for making me the happiest child in the world. Jiang she stormed off in anger, and as his older sister, I had to go check on him. When I found him, he was furiously kicking a trash can on the side of the road. Pick it up. He looked at me, his face full of surprise. Sister, why are you here? Help her up, I repeated again. He obediently righted the trash can, looking like a child who had done something wrong, and stammered, I didn't mean to. It's just, I was a bit angry. I softened my expression and spoke earnestly. No matter what, Auntie is still your mother. How could you treat her like this? Tears welled up in his eyes, and his voice was filled with grievance. She's not even my mother. All she cares about is Jiang Yuning. Your sister really bullies you like you said. Of course, he nodded heavily, as if he had finally found someone who would listen. She says she's letting me be her assistant, but really, she's just using me as a punching bag. If she gets upset on set, she comes back and either hits or scolds me. If I dare to fight back, she starts acting, pretending I'm the one bullying her, making everyone misunderstand and blame me. My expression was indescribable, perfectly conveying both sympathy and disbelief. I'm sorry to have wronged you. Let's go back together. His eyes sparkled with joy. You believe me? I gave a faint smile. Of course, you're my own brother. I found my birth mother and told her I wanted Jiang Shi to stay at my place for a while longer. She was somewhat reluctant, as if Jiang Shiwan returning one step later would result in some catastrophic event happening to Jiang Yuning on set, whether in my past life or this one. I truly admire her great and blind maternal love for Jiang Yuning. She was different from the rest of the Jiang family. Her love for Jiang Yuning was untainted by any interests, free of any selfish motives, purely stemming from 20 years of nurturing. I had to call Jiang Zhenting to persuade Jiang Shi to stay. Jiang Shi was very happy to know this and trusted and relied on me even more as an older sister. However, in the following days, I began to deliberately distance myself from him. I had previously ordered a top-of-the-line gaming computer, which I originally intended to buy for him. The model and color were both chosen by him personally. The computer finally arrived, and he excitedly unpacked it, gave it a try, and simply couldn't put it down. Jiang Shi, I hesitated, my tone filled with reluctance. What's wrong, sis? The smile on his face hadn't yet faded. Su Yang has made significant progress in this month's exam. I want to give him this computer as a reward first. His smile froze on his face. He's about to enter his final year of high school, and I want to encourage him to study hard and get into a good university. You're older than him, so let him have it. I'll order a new one for you later. Okay. His expression softened a bit, though he was clearly reluctant, and he nodded reluctantly. Okay, all right then, since you want to get into the entertainment industry. I have a classmate whose father is a very famous director in the circle. I can help you ask around. Really? Jiang Shi immediately beamed with joy, his earlier displeasure completely gone. Thank you, sis, no problem. I patted his shoulder. I do know a director, but I don't have the influence to recommend someone who's a complete newcomer with no experience. I told Jiang Shi that I would take him to visit the director this weekend. On the day of the appointment, I left the house early and didn't return home until long after the agreed time had passed. Jiang Shi called me. Sis, where are you? At this moment, I was strolling around the campus of C University with Su Yang. I'm sorry, Jiangxi, I forgot about your matter. I thought it would be nice since Su Yang has the weekend off, so I brought him to C University to take a look, let him get a feel for the atmosphere of his target university, so he can study with more motivation. Jiangxi's tone was filled with unmistakable disappointment. But you promised me, Su Yang is already in his 3rd year of high school, his situation is more urgent than yours. Next time, I promise I'll take you next time again. You clearly said that both Su Yang and I are your brothers. Enough, he's young and doesn't understand things. Are you going to be just as unreasonable as him? What are you competing with him for? After saying that, I impatiently hung up the phone. Not long after, Su Yang walked over, munching on a large chicken leg. Sis, can we check out another school? Their cafeteria food is just awful. I am speechless. My attitude made Jiangxi feel an unprecedented sense of panic. He tried several times to have a proper talk with me, but I brushed him off impatiently each time, using work as an excuse. On this day, I finally took the initiative to find him. Jiangxi, I'm not busy today. Can you accompany me to buy some things? After enduring days of neglect, seeing me speak to him voluntarily, he nodded eagerly. All right, sure. I drove him to a high-end private kitchen restaurant. Let's eat first. I happen to have a friend meeting me here. Sis, is it your boyfriend? He tried to crack a joke to ease the tense atmosphere of the past few days. A flicker of ambiguous light flashed in my eyes. No, it's a girlfriend. In the private room, a girl about my age was already waiting. Jiangxi, this is my friend, Xiaoya. Jiangxi greeted politely. Hello, Sister Xiaoya. The girl simply nodded faintly in response. During dinner, I deliberately brought up Jiangxi's desire to enter the entertainment industry. Xiaoya, aren't you a talent agent at an entertainment company? What do you think of my brother? Does he have the potential to be a star? Xiaoya glanced up and down at Jiangxi a few times, her tone indifferent. He's not bad looking, but he lacks distinct features, low recognizability. Is he from a performing arts school? What talents does he have? Jiangxi's face turned red instantly, and he stuttered, unable to speak. I smiled and smoothed things over. He just wants to give it a try. Do you have any low investment, quick return web dramas over there where he could play a supporting role for fun? Xiaoya frowned. Sis, are you joking? How competitive are web dramas these days? It's not as easy as you make it sound. Besides, he's your brother. If you're going to send him somewhere, it should be to a big production. I sighed. Big productions aren't that easy to get into. Our family doesn't have any connections. During this meal, Jiangxi was restless and uneasy. His proud family background seemed like a joke in front of true insiders. On the way back, Jiangxi remained silent the entire time. I comforted him. Don't be discouraged. Xiaoya just speaks her mind. She's quite direct. I think you still have a lot of potential. I'll ask around for other opportunities for you later. He forced a smile. Thank you, sis. He didn't know that Xiaoya was a contracted artist under my company, and every word she said had been taught to her in advance by me. I wanted him to understand that without the Jiang family, he was nothing, and the only one who could help him was me. The real drama is yet to come. When I got home, my parents happened to be out for a walk, which was just perfect for me to do my thing. I called Jiangxi into the study and took out a document. What is this? He asked, puzzled. A share transfer agreement, I said calmly. I plan to acquire the Jiang Group. Jiangxi's eyes widened instantly. Sis, you know better than I do what shape Jiang Corporation is in right now. I interrupted him. It's been reduced to a shell by Jiang Che and your father, drowning in debt. Instead of waiting for it to go bankrupt and be liquidated, why not sell it to me? I can assure you, after the acquisition, the name of Jiang Corporation will remain unchanged, and you will still be the second young master of the Jiang family. He fell silent. Knowing I spoke the truth, I need you to get the shares your father and brother hold. That's impossible. He immediately shook his head. My dad, your father is in no position to protect himself, and Jiang Che is missing. The old shareholders of Jiang Corporation have long wanted to kick him out. As long as you take my acquisition proposal to them, they'll know what to choose. I handed him a pen. This is your only chance. Help me, and you're helping yourself. Think about that gentle and kind girl. Do you really want her to suffer with you? Those words became the final straw that broke him. His trembling hand reached out and took the document. Sis, what should I do? I smiled. It's simple. I want you to go and get all the original evidence of Jiang Che's years of falsifying accounts and insider trading. All of these things are in the safe in his study. The password is your sister Jiang Yuning's birthday. In my past life, it was because I accidentally discovered this safe that Jiang Che had me killed. In this life, I will make Jiang Shi personally send his beloved older brother to prison with the imperial sword I provided. Jiang Shi successfully convinced several of Jiang Corporation's senior shareholders, taking advantage of Jiang Zhenting's investigation and the absence of anyone at home. He opened Jiang Che's safe. Only when he saw the shocking criminal evidence inside did he finally understand what kind of person the brother he had always admired truly was. He handed the evidence over to me. I didn't immediately report it to the police. Instead, I anonymously sent these pieces of evidence to Jiang Che's biggest business rival, a more ferocious commercial storm, one powerful enough to completely devour the Jiang Corporation, is about to arrive. Jiang Zhenting is a businessman who places an extreme emphasis on reputation and family interests. In my previous life, he doted on Jiang Yuning primarily because she fit his ideal image of a noble lady. Secondly, it was because the engagement between Jiang Yuning and the young master of the Fu family could bring immense benefits to the Jiang family. As for me, a child raised in an orphanage, I would only bring him shame. The first time he took me to a banquet, my nervousness and timidity invited ridicule from many. After the banquet, instead of comforting or teaching me, he slapped me hard in the car. Disgraceful thing, I don't have a daughter as unfit for public view as you. Therefore, he turned a blind eye to his birth mother's favoritism and ignored Jiang Shi's bullying. Later, after I started working at Jiang Corporation and gradually demonstrated my business acumen, I slowly began to receive his concern and attention. He would take me to various business events, proudly introducing me to his partners. This is my daughter, Sumu. At that time, I was already immune to this hypocritical, fatherly love. I proposed to him that I wanted shares in the Jiang Corporation, but he coldly told me, Sumu, recognize your place. In his eyes, I was merely a useful tool that could create value for him. When I proposed leaving the Jiang family to start my own business, he refused to give up the benefits I could bring him. He said, if you can no longer create value for the Jiang family, then obediently enter into a business marriage to secure the family's final interests. Later, a project I was responsible for encountered a mishap. The core design blueprints were leaked prematurely, causing significant losses for the company. Jiang Zhenting knew very well that I was not the one who leaked the blueprints, yet he still pinned all the blame on me. He said to me, Sumu, I only care about results and benefits. I already had a suspect in mind for the person who leaked the design drawings, but before I could gather evidence, I was kidnapped along with Jiang Yuning. I suspect that the person who framed me and the one who orchestrated my kidnapping are the same individual. That person's target has always been me alone. Kidnapping Jiang Yuning was merely a cover to divert attention and to stage that. Choose one scenario, completely eliminating any chance of my survival. After all, which kidnapper would be so unprofessional as to abduct two hostages and force the family to make a choice? Isn't that just pure madness? Wouldn't it be nice to get an extra ransom, having the opportunity to obtain the core design plans of Jiang's, while also plotting to kidnap both me and Jiang Yuning? Most importantly, this person has a direct conflict of interest with me. Besides Jiang Che and Jiang Shi, I can't think of a third person. As for Jiang Shi, I seriously doubt he has the brains for it. Not long after my biological mother and Jiang Shi left, Jiang Zhenting reached out to me on his own. In the restaurant, he looked serious. The Jiang family can disown Jiang Shi. What? I feigned surprise. He said seriously, I will no longer provide him with any financial support. Whatever you want to do to him, I will not interfere. I thought he was here to plead for his son. So be it. That's Jiang Zhenting's nature. Cold-blooded and ruthless. He's your own son, I said sarcastically. He laughed indifferently. Sumu, you're very clever. With just a small trick, you successfully sowed discord between Jiang Shi and Yuning. Is there even any affection left between them? I retorted. At this moment, several entertainment news items were pushed to my phone. Hashtag top actress Jiang Yunhua bullies newcomers. Hashtag Jiang Yunhua exposed for long-term abuse of assistant. Hashtag Jiang Yunhua engages in malicious competition, causing actress to be disfigured on set. Hashtag. Each news article was accompanied by high-definition images, and there were even several indisputable, clear videos, leaving her no opportunity for public relations damage control. No need to guess, this was Jiang Shi's revenge. It was worth it. After all the provocation I had subjected him to, I looked at Jiang Zhenting. You've always known about Jiang Shi's situation. Knowing all the injustices he had endured, knows about Jiang Yuning's oppression and beatings. Just like in his previous life, he chose to watch coldly from the sidelines. Jiang Jinting's tone carried no warmth. He's the one who isn't trying hard enough. He's here today, not to reminisce about old feelings with me. From the moment I drove his wife and son out of the Su family, he realized that the family card would be useless on me. Therefore, he didn't bother to maintain that facade of a benevolent father anymore. You are more outstanding than the three of them combined. Qiming has only been established for 3 years, yet it has already grown to such a scale, with limitless potential. If it weren't for you being taken away by that nanny back then, I would have definitely groomed you as the most outstanding heir. I don't believe it. My response was too quick and too blunt, causing a slight crack in Jiang Jinting's expression. He took out another new equity transfer document. So now, I can fulfill my promise. I didn't even glance at it. Mr. Jiang, I'm not a fool. What could Jiang Corporation possibly have left that I would want? Young man, you need to look further ahead. The Jiang family and the Fu family are collaborating on a major project. If this project succeeds, Jiang Corporation can be revived. His tone was confident. This collaboration was clearly facilitated by Jiang Yuning. What are the conditions? You can't possibly be giving me such a generous gift for free, can you? I need 50 million in funding for cash flow. How much? I was utterly shocked. President Jiang, I started from scratch, and it hasn't been easy. The company's liquid assets are all I have. If I give them all to you, how am I supposed to keep my business running? He looked relaxed. What's there to worry about? Once the project succeeds and the funds flow back, I'll return your money double. In the future, the entire Jiang Corporation will be yours. Starting to make empty promises again, I shook my head. I don't accept. He was puzzled. What more could you be dissatisfied with in such a profitable partnership? I raised the corner of my mouth. It's not that I'm not satisfied, but I don't trust you. What if you trick me? You? Jiang Jinting's face turned livid with anger. Just kidding. I quickly interrupted him. I won't work with you because I'm a fine young socialist, firmly opposed to all enterprises and individuals that break the law and violate discipline. The next second, his phone rang, abruptly stifling the anger he had just mustered. I pointed at his phone and said, I know you're angry right now. But hold that thought. After hanging up the phone, he looked at me with a face full of shock and uncertainty. Sumu, did you do this? I chuckled softly. No, you did it yourself. Soon, the news of the Jiang Group's tax evasion will spread across the entire internet. Everyone will know that the successful CEO Jiang is nothing but a hypocrite who pretends to be righteous. Sumu, he slammed the table in anger. I am your father. My father's name is Su Jianqing. He taught me to abide by the law and be strict with myself. As for you, I glanced at him indifferently. I don't have a father as disgraceful as you. Jiang Corporation was anonymously reported by me. Those solid pieces of evidence were also handed over to the tax bureau by me personally. I don't covet anything from the Jiang family, but at the same time, I don't intend to leave them anything either. Jiang Jinting is a selfish and cold-blooded man who doesn't care about family ties. Even his own son can be discarded. Without a second thought, I will destroy his pride and joy, his career, and the reputation he values most. Jiang Jinting is about to face prison time. Jiang Yuning's scandals are still escalating online, and Jiang Shi is a spineless coward who can't handle pressure. At this critical moment, the only pillar of support for the Jiang family, Jiang Che, has suddenly gone missing. The Fu Group immediately announced the withdrawal of investment and the termination of all cooperation with Jiang Corporation. The Jiang family owed an astronomical amount in taxes and fines, forcing them to borrow money from Jiang Yuning. Jiang Yuning didn't give them a pleasant look. My biological mother and Jiang Shi even went to the entrance of the Fu Group building, only to be dragged out by security like dead dogs. My biological mother came to see me several times, but I refused to let her in. When my parents found out, they just sighed and didn't intervene further. My father also called me to his study and interrogated me strictly. Finally, he spoke to me earnestly. A gentleman loves wealth, but takes it through proper means. I assured him helplessly, Dad, I paid my taxes on time. By the time things had reached this point, I thought Jiang Che would come looking for me. After all, with Jiang Jinting's downfall, Jiang Che was now the one in charge of the Jiang family. But Jiang Yuning arrived first. Jiang Yuning, the person who stole my identity from birth, the source of my 22 years of suffering in my previous life. It was only now, for the first time, that I saw her. I avenged Jiang Jinting, my birth mother, Jiang Shi, and even the entire Jiang Group, but I never touched her. Even the black marks all over her now are Jiang Shi's handiwork, although I deliberately provoked some of it. Do I not hate her? Of course I do, but compared to her, what I hate even more are those relatives who share my blood yet treat me with cold indifference. In my previous life, during those 16 years when Jiang Yuning took my place, I harbored resentment, but there was nothing I could do about it. After returning to the Jiang family, at first, Jiang Yuning only had some petty thoughts of jealousy and rivalry. She was constantly testing the attitudes of the Jiang family members. It was their repeated indulgence and favoritism that gave Jiang Yuning the confidence and means to hurt me. All she had to do was cry, and my closest relatives would come to blame, scold, and even hit me with just a casual lie. All my relatives would unhesitatingly believe her. Clearly uncovering the truth would have been a trivial task for them, yet they all preemptively assumed that the one in the wrong must be me. If they had shown me even the slightest bit of care, perhaps I wouldn't have endured such inhuman suffering. Jiang Yuning merely handed over the knife. But those so-called relatives were the true executioners who took that knife and sliced away my flesh, piece by piece. I hate Jiang Yuning, but I hate them even more, 1,000 times, 10,000 times more. Are you Sumu? Jiang Yuning was dressed to the nines, her eyes brimming with an innate arrogance and disdain. It was me, she sneered coldly. It's nothing special. I heard from my eldest brother that you're quite impressive, having started some company. I looked into it, and compared to the Fu family's business empire that has been passed down for decades, it's still far from matching up. I chuckled lightly. You've gone to such lengths to say all this, just to imply that I'm not as good as you, that I'll never measure up to you, right? She nodded. That's the truth, I scoffed. What gives you the confidence to say that, just because you're currently surrounded by scandals and being boycotted by the entire internet, with the Fu family as my backing? Why should I fear not having a chance to make a comeback? Besides, even if I don't continue as an entertainer, I can still retire peacefully and continue being a wealthy socialite. Sumu, do you know how much I hate you? Her gaze suddenly turned venomous. Hate me? I was somewhat puzzled. Even though you took my place, I never once thought about reclaiming everything that belonged to me, did I? What reason do you have to hate me? She sneered. Because you are the rightful, legitimate daughter of the Jiang family, while I am destined to be nothing more than a fake who can never be acknowledged. Why is it that the one born into the Jiang family just had to be you? Ever since I learned the truth at 16, I've lived in fear every single day, terrified that you might suddenly come back one day. After our parents found out the truth, they claimed they would still treat me as their own daughter, but in reality, they've never stopped thinking about you. I couldn't be bothered to argue with someone as greedy and insatiable as her. Is that my fault? I deliberately said in a mocking tone. I just have good luck. Who told you to be born to the nanny? Who told you to fail at keeping your own origins a secret? Who told them to keep thinking about me? You. She was so angry her lips turned pale. Even if you've been recognized by the Jiang family now, so what? You're still unlucky. If you had returned a few years earlier, you might have enjoyed being a wealthy heiress, but now, the Jiang family has nothing left, while I am still the future mistress of the Fu family. So, is that your reason for helping your husband's family scheme against your own family? I retorted, stealing the Jiang family's business secrets, intercepting their key projects, poaching their core executives, step by step. You've paved the way for your fiancé, Fu Beiheng. You really are hopelessly in love with him, aren't you? Jiang Yuning's face instantly turned pale with panic. I have no idea what you're talking about, I calmly replied. Since I know about these matters, it means I have already found solid evidence. She was stunned for a long time before suddenly regaining her composure. What does it matter if you know? I just want to completely destroy the Jiang family before you return. Even if you are the biological child, don't think you'll get anything from the Jiang family. I shrugged. It doesn't matter. After all, it's not my interests that are being harmed. Her brows furrowed tightly. What do you mean? You're not planning to return to the Jiang family? Did she think I had gone to all that trouble just to go back and be a down-and-out heiress, which is why she specifically came to flaunt her superiority in front of me? I didn't answer her question any further. Instead, I pressed the save button on my phone, saved the recording I had just made, then stood up and left. In this lifetime, I never intended to do anything to Jiang Yuning with my own hands. I prefer to watch her, step by step, bring about her own downfall. Ever since I reconnected with the Jiang family, I've had people secretly keeping an eye on their movements. Now that such a major incident has occurred within the Jiang family, Jiang Che has yet to show his face, nor has he come to find me. This is too abnormal. I can't find any trace of his whereabouts. A sense of foreboding welled up in my heart. go stay at the school dormitory for a while, I said to Su Yang, who was on summer vacation. Why not? Staying in the dorm will make it easier for you to get a head start on your senior year coursework. I can study at home too. Go if you're told to go. Why all the nonsense? I'm not going. The bed in the dormitory is uncomfortable. I gave him a sidelong glance, still thinking about sleeping. You're about to enter your 3rd year of high school. At your age, how can you even sleep? Su Yang is speechless. Sumu, you wouldn't be trying to get rid of me so you can secretly inherit the 3 acres of land back in our hometown, would you? Me, I'll give you money. He gave a flattering smile and performed a standard ancient bow. You got it. Sis, just leave it to me. After sending Su Yang away, I signed my parents up for a luxury 2-week European tour to let them relax and enjoy themselves. They were initially reluctant. I said, I have an important project to discuss on a business trip recently, and I won't have time to deal with household matters. What will you do if the Jiang family comes knocking again? My parents don't like the Jiang family, but due to my blood relationship with them, they can't afford to make things too awkward. It's better to just avoid them altogether. I can't exactly tell them about my reincarnation. It's too unbelievable, and they would never believe it. I quietly arranged for top-notch bodyguards near the school and by my parents' side. Recalling the experience of being kidnapped in my previous life, I can still feel the sensation of falling off a cliff and the excruciating pain of my bones shattering. The Su family villa is empty now, and someone needs to move in. I brought back my homeless birth mother and Jiang Shi. In the living room, Jiang Shi huddled in the corner, clearly still too afraid to face me. My birth mother looked haggard, her face streaked with tear stains. Mumu, please help your father. We've even mortgaged the old house, but we still can't scrape together enough money to pay the fine. Ignoring her tearful plea, I asked directly, where's Jiang Che? My birth mother replied, your older brother has also gone to try and raise the money. Where did he go? I asked impatiently. I'm not sure, he just said he was going abroad to ask a friend for help. Abroad, when, about 3 days ago, I felt a sudden panic, as my parents had also gone abroad. At that time, I steadied myself and asked deliberately, what exactly is going on? Isn't Jiang Yuning your precious gem? She's so kind, how could she refuse to help in a life and death situation? Don't mention that ungrateful wretch. Non-biological children just can't be raised properly. We raised her in luxury, provided her with such a generous dowry, yet she wouldn't even lend us that much money. I looked indignant and said, although I'm not close to you, since Jiang Yuning has enjoyed Jiang family resources for over 20 years, she should take on this responsibility for me. How could she treat you like this? Jiang Shi shouted angrily at his mother. I've told you countless times, she's a vicious woman, but you just wouldn't believe me. My birth mother wiped away her tears. Alright, what's the use of saying all this now? She grabbed my hand, as if clutching the last lifeline. Mumu, help us. If the Jiang family can get through this crisis, we will definitely compensate you well in the future. Family bonds can be cultivated over time. I reluctantly pulled my hand away. I want to help, but I don't have that much money either. Our Su family isn't some wealthy clan, and my company is only newly established. How could I possibly save up that much? What should we do then? Jiang, she said in a muffled voice, don't drag my sister down. You deserved it for trusting Jiang Yuning so much back then. Jiang Yuning came to see me a few days ago. I took out the previous recording. I never expected that she would ruin the Jiang family just for a man. The conversation between Jiang Yuning and me played out from the phone. I slightly edited my own speech. In the recording, Jiang Yuning herself admitted that she, for Fu Beiheng, pushed Jiang Corporation step by step into the abyss of ruin. My birth mother, upon hearing this, completely fell apart. Jiang Shi's face was filled with a sinister expression. I'm going to kill that bitch. Enough, I interrupted them. You can't even see her face now, so don't overestimate yourselves. I sighed and put on a look of difficulty. I'll figure something out. The Jiang family's villa and ancestral home have both been mortgaged. I let them live here with peace of mind. Jiang Shi looked at me with a face full of gratitude, as if I were still that good sister who would unconditionally favor him. My birth mother seemed to have found a pillar of support, living in my home with a clear conscience, waiting for me to solve everything for them. That day, I received a call from an unknown number. Sumu, long time no see. The voice on the other end of the line was still as gentle as ever, yet it sent a bone-chilling cold through me. Jiang Che, I heard you've been looking for me. He chuckled lightly. Indeed. I leaned against the floor-to-ceiling window of the office, watching the bustling traffic below. The Jiang group is on the verge of bankruptcy, yet you, the heir, have gone missing. Of course, I had to find you. I just went abroad to handle some personal matters. Is that so? I thought you went to hunt down my adoptive parents. There was a brief silence on the other end of the phone, followed by a light chuckle from him. As expected, you know everything. You killed me in my past life. Do you plan to repeat the same trick in this one? No, 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 he denied. In this lifetime, how could I ever bear to let you die? I just want to invite your uncle and aunt to go abroad for a relaxing trip, and, by the way, discuss a business deal with you. What kind of business? I want the chiming technology in your hands, and you yourself. He paused, his voice carrying a hint of undeniable control. Return to the Jiang family and become my right-hand man. With us siblings working together, we can surely restore the Jiang Corporation to its peak. Do you think that's possible? Nothing is impossible. I know you hate us, but in the business world, there are no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. You wouldn't want your innocent adoptive parents to be buried with you, would you? Naked threat, I sneered. Jiang Che, do you think I'm still the Su Mu from my previous life, the one you could manipulate at will? You can't kidnap them. Oh, are you so confident? Because they never left the country. I said each word deliberately. Your people are probably still waiting in vain at the airport. Aren't they? On the other end of the line, silence fell once again. After a long while, Jiang Che's voice finally spoke again, but this time, the warm facade was completely torn away, leaving only cold, murderous intent. Sumu, do you really have to fight to the point of mutual destruction? It's not mutual destruction, it's your one-sided, irredeemable downfall. I hung up the phone and immediately dialed another number. It's time to close the net. A few days ago, I did take my parents to the airport, but they didn't board the plane. Instead, through a secret passage I arranged, they went to a private resort under my name. The photos Jiang Che used to threaten me were merely ones I had synthesized in advance. I wanted him to believe he had the upper hand, so he would reveal his flaws. The people he used to kidnap my parents were already being watched by my men, and he himself, as soon as he returns to the country, will be immediately arrested by the police. He thinks he's still the hunter in control of the game, unaware that he has long been the prey in my net. Jiang Che was arrested at the airport. Awaiting him was a trial for multiple charges. The Jiang Group, due to the complete downfall of its core leadership and the exposure of a series of commercial crimes, was forced into bankruptcy liquidation. A once glorious business empire thus collapsed with a resounding crash. I didn't attend the trial, only saw the final verdict in the news. Both Jiang Zhenting and Jiang Che were sentenced to life imprisonment. My biological mother, due to severe mental trauma, was sent to a sanatorium. As for Jiang Shi, he took his beloved girl and completely broke away from the Jiang family, moving to a small city where no one knew them, starting a new life. Before leaving, he sent me a message. Sister, I'm sorry, and thank you. I didn't reply. Between us, we were already even. Jiang Yunua's fate was the most tragic. Without the support of the Jiang and Fu families, her life abroad was not easy. It is said that she was retaliated against by a rival she had once offended, embroiled in a scandal from which there was no recovery, ultimately ruined and disappeared without a trace. Later, someone claimed to have seen a woman who looked very much like her in a red light district abroad, but none of this concerns me anymore. I have finally sought justice for myself from my previous life. All those who once hurt me have paid the price they deserved. Sis, come blow out the candles. Su Yang had just received his admission letter from Peking University, and the family was hosting a celebration banquet for his academic success. Facing the congratulations from relatives and friends, Lu Min spoke modest words, but the smile on her face simply couldn't be contained. Su Jianqing had drunk too much, with one arm around me and the other around Su Yang, boasting drunkenly, "In my life, I've taught so many outstanding students, but the ones I'm most proud of are still these two kids of mine. Come on, second uncle, let's open another bottle." Su Yang leaned over to me and complained, "I ended up going to Jing University after all. Their school cafeteria is just too terrible. Sister, why don't you donate a cafeteria to the school?" I gave him a speechless look. Get lost. The sunlight outside the window is just right, and the breeze is gentle. This happiness, delayed by 22 years, I finally, firmly grasped in my hands. Extra, Jiang Shi. After leaving that suffocating city, my girlfriend Xiaoya and I settled in a picturesque small town in the south. We used the money that Sister Sumu, no, I should call her Sumu now, the money she privately gave me, to open a small dessert shop. Xiaoya loves making desserts, and I have finally found a career I am willing to dedicate my life to. At first, I would often wake up from nightmares, in my dreams, there was the cold, empty villa of the Jiang family. Jiang Yuning's face, sometimes tearful like pear blossoms, sometimes twisted with resentment, my father's icy gaze, my mother's frantic favoritism, and the unfathomable abyss behind my eldest brother's gold-rimmed glasses. Whenever this happened, Xiaoya would hold me tightly and whisper comfortingly, "It's all in the past, Axie, it's all in the past, yes, it's all in the past." I once thought that I would forever be the useless one living in the shadow of my older brother and sister, the good-for-nothing who could only rely on the family's influence to act arrogantly. I hated Jiang Yuning, hated her for taking away all the attention and affection that should have been mine. I also feared Jiang Che, feared his seemingly gentle yet distant gaze, as if I were nothing more than an insignificant object, but what I hated the most was actually the cowardly, foolish, and utterly wicked version of myself. It was Su Mu's arrival, like a ray of light, that split open my chaotic and miserable life. She made me see through the hypocritical family ties of the Jiang family, and she made me understand that the value of a person's existence is never determined by their birth or background. The pastry shop's business gradually picked up, and Xiaoya and I got our lives back on track. We developed new pastries together, decorated the shop together, and strolled hand in hand under the setting sun. I learned how to care for others, how to take responsibility, and how to love someone. I still think of Su Mu from time to time. I remember the latest model phone she handed me when we first met. I remember her taking me shopping and generously buying everything I liked without hesitation, thinking of her at the dinner table, quietly putting food in my bowl. I once thought it was a belated display of familial affection. It wasn't until later that I gradually came to understand it was merely an insignificant part of her revenge plan. All her kindness toward me was only to make me the sharpest blade in her hand, to personally tear through the Jiang family's splendid robe. Did I ever resent her? Perhaps there was, but more than that, it was gratitude. If it weren't for her, I might never have broken free from the cage of the Jiang family, forever remaining that detestable second son of the Jiangs. She gave me a new life and allowed me to become a better person. The weather was beautiful on the day Xiaoya and I got married. I didn't tell Su Mu, but I knew she must be living a happier life than anyone else. Somewhere out there, after the wedding, I received an anonymous package. Inside was an exquisite pair of dragon and phoenix jade pendants, carved from the same piece of jade as the token of love I had given Xiaoya. There was only one sentence on the card: "Happy wedding, my dear brother." Holding the jade pendant, I looked out at the brilliant sunshine outside the window, and tears finally fell. This time, it wasn't grievance, it wasn't reluctance, but rather, a sense of relief. Extra Episode 2, Jiang Che. Life in prison was as monotonous as stagnant water. I thought I would spend the rest of my life here, consumed by endless regret and resentment. It wasn't until that day, when a sudden high fever brought me back to the summer of my 22nd year. I had been reborn. With all the memories of my past life, I returned to the eve of the financial fraud case spiraling out of control, to the time before Su Mu had accidentally died. In the study, I stared at the evidence in the safe that could ruin me, and for the first time, I felt an icy chill. In my previous life, I thought I was the hunter in control of the game, manipulating everyone like puppets. I eliminated Su Mu, the threat, secured my position as the perfect heir, and brought Jiangshi Group to unprecedented glory, but I never expected that the country bumpkin sister I had always overlooked would return with a heart full of hatred. The traps she set struck precisely at the lifeblood of the Jiang Corporation. She turned my most trusted deputy against me, sowed discord between Jiang Shi and Jiang Yuning, and even my foolish mother became a pawn in her hands. She was like the most skilled chess player, forcing all of us step by step into a desperate situation, and I, until the very end, never knew where exactly I had lost. This lifetime, I will not give her any opportunity. I destroyed all the evidence in the safe and prematurely terminated that out-of-control merger plan, keeping all losses within the smallest possible range. I need to re-examine this sister of mine. In my past life, I only saw her as a clever but ultimately unrefined country girl. It wasn't until she appeared at a business reception as the founder of Qiming Technology that I truly acknowledged her existence for the first time. She was no longer the timid girl whose eyes were filled with eagerness to please and a sense of inferiority. She was calm, confident, and radiant, with a depth and sharpness in her clear eyes that belied her age. I know, she has also returned. Between us, a relentless game of cat and mouse is destined to unfold. I began to actively show her kindness. I personally visited the Su family, lowering my stance to an extreme, even going so far as to apologize to her in front of Su Jiancheng and his wife for the negligence of the Jiang family over the years. What I gave her were no longer the old jewelry that Jiang Yuning had discarded, but priceless antique pieces I personally bid for and acquired for her. I even took the initiative to transfer 15% of the Jiang family's shares into her name. My gestures of goodwill surprised everyone, including Su Mu. She no longer harbored the same hostility toward me as she had in her previous life, yet she always maintained a certain distance, neither too close nor too far. She was testing me, and I was observing her. We were like two wary beasts, neither daring to show our fangs first. It wasn't until the dual contract incident involving Jiang Yunhua erupted, just like in my previous life. The Jiang family once again found themselves in the midst of a media storm. I didn't spend a fortune on public relations for her like I did in my previous life. Instead, I immediately sent her abroad and publicly announced that I was severing our sibling relationship. My decisiveness left both Jiang Zhenting and my mother utterly bewildered. Jiang Che, have you lost your mind? Yuning is your most beloved sister, I simply said calmly. A sister who could bring ruin upon the family is not one I need. I need someone who can stand shoulder to shoulder with me, working together to push the Jiang Corporation to its peak, a true family member, and that person can only be Su Mu. Using the opportunity presented by the Jiang Yuning incident, I began secretly investigating the accounts of her studio. Soon, I uncovered evidence that the Fu family was using Jiang Yuning to launder money and steal Jiang Corporation's business secrets. I anonymously handed these pieces of evidence to Su Mu. I knew that she was more adept than I at using these to deliver a fatal blow to the Fu family. Sure enough, not long after, the Fu group was thoroughly investigated for a series of commercial crimes, causing its stock prices to plummet and bringing it to the brink of bankruptcy. Meanwhile, Su Mu's Chiming Technology seized the opportunity to acquire the most core artificial intelligence business of the Fu Group, catapulting itself to the forefront of the industry. A subtle tacit understanding seemed to have formed between her and me. Neither of us had pierced that thin veil, yet in the shadows, we mutually exploited and complemented each other. That day, I invited her to meet at a private club under my name. Congratulations, General Manager Su. I raised my glass, smiling with refined elegance. Are you satisfied with the feast at the Fu family's banquet? She smiled faintly, her eyes sparkling. Congratulations to you as well, President Jiang. Didn't you also take the opportunity to completely clean out the parasites within the Jiang family? We exchanged a glance and drank it all in one go. Outside the window, the city's countless lights twinkled. I knew that the real game, the one that belonged